This is another episode of the Decoy Sports Podcast. All right, welcome back to the Decoy Sports Podcast for another week. My name is Jackson, and unfortunately, Joel cannot be here today. He's been sick. We've tried to give him the benefit of the doubt for probably 3-4 days, and he's doesn't have what it takes, mate. Basically, to do the grand final preview. So
no ticker.
No ticker.
It's lost.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's Joel.
Joel. Says the guy wearing a Bulldogs jersey. But in replace, we've got Ed Foote. He's done the potty a couple times before.
Yep.
So he's definitely our number one backup. But it's about all he's good for.
Best bench player you'll ever get.
Yeah, that's about it. Cool, man. How'd you find the season?
Oh, staying patient, Every year's next year. It's all right. Look, our season's done and the best times are yet to come. So as of Monday morning, season 2024, I'm ready to go. Got my training shorts on and ready to rip in for a good preseason.
You reckon you'll be able to handle getting just wrestled by 30 guys or?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Sounds like standard
You're not
Friday night.
You're
really.
not going to leave like the other players or?
I'll leave once I've gone through 60.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So you get 60.
Yeah, got to get me 60. It's
Nice.
usually what I handle in the back rooms of Fortitude Valley anyway.
Righto, mate. Righto. Cool, man. So I guess what we normally do is we'll go through our gun of the week and turd of the week. Obviously, late notice for you, so I haven't made you write it down, but we can definitely discuss the ones that I've got down.
Yep.
I think it's pretty clear what both of them are.
Yeah.
First one, gun of the week, Reece Walsh.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
100%.
Do you remember his stats? He was something like 5 try assists or something, I think.
I don't think it was that many. I think it was more so the fact that he threw an intercept and then his next 4 touches were like try assist, beautiful line break assist, line break, and diffused like.
And I think if you see most of like the champion players, they have that in them where they'll make a mistake and then they can just
it's memory of a goldfish, mate.
Exactly, and they can just obviously go and do the same thing literally 10 minutes later, but it will come off. And then he's done it 5 times in a row basically.
Yeah.
One contentious, which we'll talk about in a bit, but
that's all right.
I think it was something like a record high for his line break assists. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, something.
I think it was like 7 line break assists or something crazy.
Yeah,
it's just mental, especially it's crazy that like if that was in a normal game, but that's in a prelim, bro. Like it's even more crazy that it's like that's
at the almost tip of the iceberg. Obviously, tip of the iceberg being this Sunday.
Yeah,
but
I almost feel like sometimes the pressure's more on in the prelim because you're fighting to get into that grand final. You know what I mean? Like you're in the final. Anything can happen when you're in it. But
not only that, but the fact that they should have been there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And they should win that. Like they were the favourites as well. Like
100%.
By far. Whereas this week it's like, I don't fucking know really. Like no one really. Everyone's got their own opinions, but no one's really not sure. Whereas both those games on the weekend, the Panthers and then the Broncos game, you kind of were like, it should be a flogging, but who knows?
September.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So just unbelievable, and you'd think he'll carry it through into this week, but tougher opposition. They've obviously what the Panthers seem to do is they always seem to have a good plan.
Yeah.
For everyone, like you never really see teams that like are going really well or players that are like have unbelievable form.
Yeah.
Do it to the Panthers. Like they normally get to the Panthers and then somehow they've closed that down and they're sort of like, cool, well, that's how you're winning games. We'll shut that down and you need to beat us another way.
Yeah.
That's normally the way it works.
It's disgusting how good they are at it as well.
Yeah. So we'll be very interested this week to see how that plays out and if he can fire, I've said to Joel the last few weeks, I was like, although he's great, and we'll also talk about, I think, last week because Mal said that Tedesco is going to remain at fullback for Australia. And, the way that I could see that being is, yes, he's the incumbent, yes, he's the captain, all that. But although Reece Walsh is like unbelievable, he's got that mistake in him. And at the highest level, sometimes coaches, especially old school coaches like Mal, they'll look at that and go, I know what I'm going to get from Teddy every week.
Well, it's a risk. Are you willing to take
That's
the risk?
The thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, someone like that would be great 14 because he'd just come on, rip and tear for 20 minutes and fucking...
And he's just so quick.
Exactly. Imagine him coming around the middle of the ruck,
Yeah.
just playing as a second fullback for 20, 30 minutes either side of half time. It'd just be unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's our done of the week. Turd of the week, again, pretty obvious. We're going to talk about the forward pass.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen both sides of it where people go, oh, it wasn't really a big thing. They were already, you know, they were going to get smashed, this and that. But my take on it was it actually changed the game slightly because I felt like the Warriors started to get into an arm wrestle and there was this sort of period of 10 minutes where it was like, oh, yeah, there's a lot of points in the first half. The second half started. It was like, it felt like a finals game. It started to move into that arm wrestle, the defense and stuff. And then that happened and it was kind of like, well, that's it. Like we're done. And then they scored more points after that. You know?
Yeah. It's all momentum. It's the biggest thing.
Yeah. And I felt like they were wrestling it back though. You know, you felt it. You could see it in the game, man. Like, and for that to sort of not be called, I thought there was 2 on the play really. And I think most people will say that as well.
Yeah, 100%.
The hard thing as well is like, you can't really you can't defend them really either, man, because
because it's blatant.
It was blatant.
You know it's bad when the commentators are sitting there and the commentators go, well, that was forward, because otherwise it's flat.
That might have been, honestly, I can't think of a more forward pass not being called than that. Like, that was so forward that I genuinely can't think of one that I've seen travel that far forward, out of the hands as well, like the way he threw it and not be called. I can't think of one that was like as forward as that.
No,
ever.
Either. Oh, not at least not in recent memory.
No, that was a good, like, I reckon nearly 3 meters it went.
But yeah, I don't know.
Do you know what I mean though? Like, I think it was
bad. Like,
it was so blatant that I just don't think I've ever seen one that forward before. Like, you see ones you go, oh, you know, you can see people on the fence go, oh, it was, and other people go, oh, it wasn't. Every single person said that was
everyone
forward.
went, ooh.
Even like he did.
Well, if you watch the players in the middle, the players in the middle stopped.
Yeah.
They were like,
even he threw it and he kind of like looked and then he was like, oh shit. And then he kept running again because he was like, oh fuck, like they didn't call it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was bad. And as I said, I think it was a bit of a momentum shift, like, because it did seem to shift back slightly and it sort of like swung back a little bit more. But at the end of the day, they were the better team. They were probably going to win, but it's things like that. You're like, fuck, you don't know. That's the thing. Like, cause say if that was called forward, it was 40 meters out. Warriors get the ball. Warriors go down and score a try. It's 6 points in the game then, plus they've got momentum. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, it was a bad one. Cool, man. So we obviously had the Dally M's last night. Let's talk a little bit about that. So Ponga's come away with obviously the win.
Yeah.
I think it come down to the last game, or they both didn't play in the last round, so it was the second last round, I think.
Yeah.
And Johnson was ahead by 5 points leading in.
Yeah, KP needed 6.
Oh, I think he was ahead by like 3 points.
3.
And then he picked up 2, and then KP needed 6 to win.
Yeah.
And then he got 6. Now, I haven't looked at the stats myself, but I've read a little bit of information about it. And in that game that he picked up 6 points, yes, they absolutely humped the Sharks, but in that game, he only played 60 minutes. He came off early because they rested him, and he had 2 try assists, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, he's hot.
So he got 6 points. So he was the best on ground in that display.
Yeah. I think it just goes to show
it's
that,
kind of a bit, I don't know, man.
Star in a shitter team.
Yeah. And then as I said, I'm just doing this off of what I've seen of like comments and stuff. So I don't know the true stats. I haven't looked, but I know that they said, I seen another comment saying that Johnson earlier in the year, he had something like 4 try assists, like a try or some shit like that, like something crazy.
Yeah.
And he got like 3 points instead of like 6. Like he was like easily the best on ground and he got 3. It's one of those ones because it's an opinion of a person watching the game, right? Yeah. And when you have, I think, people in your head that are like good players, he's a gun, you're going to lean that way. You're going to be persuaded to go with that person over a no-name that might kill it.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, it's hard to get that out of your head. Like, it's almost like you need to do, you know, like the whole, like, you know, like a court where you have to go and sit in, say there's like a famous person, and you can't, you need people that don't know who they are
to
be able to adjudicate on what the thing is.
Yeah.
You almost need that in footy, but then you can't because then if you don't know footy,
You don't know.
what you're looking at. So it's so hard. Like,
yeah, definitely.
yeah, I don't know, man. This is the first year they've changed it.
Yeah.
And, you know, you even look at the Brownlow in the AFL.
Lockie
same
Neal
thing.
did not prepare a speech for a very good reason.
Yeah, he wasn't supposed to win.
He wasn't supposed to win.
Yeah, it was pretty clear. There was probably like 2 or 3 contenders there,
Yeah.
and none of them were Lockie Neal, and he won. And it's like,
Just goes to show.
I think even in that, there was like one game he had 24 disposals, no goals, and he got 3 points. It's 3 points that system.
Yeah.
And then there was one where, what's his name? The Collingwood fella? Dacos, yeah. He was like supposed to win, and I think there was something like he kicked 4 goals, or someone did. One of the guys did kicked 4 goals and had like 41 disposals or 2 goals, 41 disposals.
Bontempelli, yeah. The difference is,
and then he got 1 point or something like that,
Yeah.
and you just like,
pays to win the game though.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
it does. But it's weird because like you look at Lockie Neal for instance, they've been the second to first best team the whole year.
Yeah.
So for him to still win in a team like that, it's kind of weird because it's normally like teams that do well but don't.
Teams that are a bit shit, but they're saved by one player.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Knights, you know, like
Nice.
they're done really well, but
Take KP.
take KP out of that team.
Willie
They're not going
Mason,
on
you
that.
take KP out of
You're
that
not-
team.
Yeah, I
There's
know.
not much to them.
But you're not going to win. You might win games because
Yeah.
they've played better this year, and their defense has been really good. And it's not KP that's changed that.
Mm.
But like, yeah, you kind of look at it and you say, well, you know, like you take him out, are they going to win 8 in a row?
No.
So
Yeah. Look,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
hard.
upset by
It's
it.
hard.
KP had a ripper of a season, and Sean Johnson had a ripper of a season.
I just think I don't, yeah. For me, it's hard because it's like if you missed 9 games through the season,
Yeah.
how can you possibly be the best player of the year?
I don't know. Did you see the footage of KP's mum at the start of the night?
I've heard about it. I
They're on
didn't
the
see
red
it, no.
carpet, and the interviewer goes to KP's mum and goes, "Do you think he's any chance of winning tonight?" And she looks at him. She's like, "No," and then that's it.
Oh, as in like she already knew, or like she was just like
No, she was straight up. She's like, "No, he's not a chance of winning tonight."
Yeah, true. I wonder why he brought his mum because he's got like a new missus and shit that everyone keeps talking about.
Probably because they keep talking about her.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, dude, I think SJ should have won. He played the most all year. He was the most consistent, made the most sense. But hey, what do you do? Rookie of the year, Taruva. Who was the nominees in the end? I know you're fucking gonna blow up about your boy Preston, but look, he had a good start, but he was never gonna fucking.
Preston,
He was never gonna get it, bro.
if he wasn't suspended, he would have won it. He was
I
our
don't think
best.
he would've.
He won our like every single award at the Doggies night.
Nah, bro.
Yeah, bro.
He wouldn't have won it. It was always going to be either Taruva or Will Warbrick.
I like Warbrick.
I thought it was one of those two, man.
I liked him a lot more when
They were most consistent all year. Preston had a really good start, as I said, but from about round 15 when you guys started doing like dog shit,
Yeah, because he got suspended
no
for 2
pun
weeks.
intended,
And then
like, yeah, he wasn't very good after that. So, yeah, I thought Taruva's probably well-deserved, man. He's very cocky. I kind of don't like...
I don't like him.
He kind of acts.
Respectfully.
Yeah, it's hard because you like if he was around a different environment, would he act the way that he does? Like, have you seen like we score like not just scoring tries, but like he'll push someone out and he gets all like niggly in their face. It's kind of like what the Panthers do, and it's like has he just adapted to that because he's around that sort of environment all the time?
I
It's
say that I
hard
don't
to sort of
like
see.
it because he does it, and then at the same time, if I was in that environment and I put a shot on, I mean, mate, I put a shot on it.
Yeah.
Tag men's 4th grade on a Monday.
I just
night,
don't
and I'm
think
standing over
rookies should be
people.
doing that. That's the part that I don't like about it.
I don't mind it if you can keep doing it.
If you're getting up in people's faces and you're a rookie and stuff, I don't know. I kind of look at it a bit like you got to earn your stripes, dude. You know, It's
Yeah.
your first season. Just have some be a bit humble. You know,
Yeah.
you put him in another team, like put him in the Dogs team. He's fucking not doing very well. I'm not trying to say that to be a cunt, but you know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think it was well deserved, but yeah, like sometimes I don't like his attitude, how he sort of carries on a bit. But
Yeah.
hey, I think out of him or Warbrick, I would have chose Warbrick.
I would have chose Warbrick as well.
I just think and not necessarily because over the full season he's been the best player, but his development over the season has been better. Like, has been the best player by far.
Yeah.
Like if you could say who's been the most improved player in the entire year, I would say it's him. Like you look at him from the start, he couldn't catch a fucking cold. He was like, he couldn't run out of the backfield. We're like, oh, he's big. He's a big cunt, but he can't fucking move really.
Yeah.
Like he can't really do much. And then he sort of started to figure it out. And then the last like 7 weeks of the season, he was
Really
fucking.
hit his step,
He was like
his stride.
one of the top wingers of the comp. I would have thought.
Buller was unfortunate not to win as well.
Yeah, I just think he was good, but he wasn't
a
good.
victim of the Tigers system, I think.
Yeah, and I don't think he was good all year. Like I think he was patches. He was good. He was like, really good this game. You didn't really see him this game. Like kind of what a rookie does.
Or even the Titans winger, I probably would have picked over Taruva. What's his name? Khan
Pereira.
Yeah, I like him.
He was alright.
He's fucking quick.
He's fucking quick. He's fucking quick. Yeah. You could have given it to 2 or 3 people there.
Yeah.
We've got Coach of the Year, which was Andrew Webster.
Yeah.
I think that was well deserved.
That's well deserved, 100%.
It's out of him, Ivan Cleary or Kevy. Look, you can go Cleary again because of what he does, but I feel like now it's just like the system's set.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing so much now, and that team's been together for so long. Like, although, he's had some players that he's had to, readjust and change, but I feel like their system's so set up now that you kind of just put people in and they're going to do the job, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah, the machine runs itself. He's just changing it for whatever the plan needs to be.
And although the last couple of years when he's sort of done that, I understand, Coach of the Year for sure. But now it's kind of like, I think...
He's just a victim of his own success.
Yeah. And Kevy, definitely. He was a good shout from what they had last year.
Yeah.
But you look at that team and it's like, they had the team last year. They just didn't...
Put it together.
Something wasn't right, and they were like, well, "We're not doing that again this year," and then that's why it's clicked.
Yeah,
but I think
Webster with
by far Andrew Webster for me is just, head and shoulders above because that team weren't even supposed to make the 8 this year, and everyone was like, they're going to struggle. I feel like he's adapted to the Warriors, just the club in general, and like what they are, and their identity,
just that general movement.
Their identity, man. Like he's bought into their identity and just almost lifted it more. You know?
Yeah.
You see things like little things I knew they were going to do well this year or like through the year, and you're like, I know they're going to stay pretty good. Is things like how like Vintage Jackson does all their media stuff that used to work for YKTR. He on his Instagram like a little while ago he put a video up and it was like DWZ like playing a guitar and they're all sitting on a bass.
Yeah.
It's like him, Sean Johnson, then everyone back, even like the Aussie boys and shit.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's playing and they're all singing together and it was like, you're like, that's fucking
wholesome.
You just see that shit and you're like, but it was like a Maori song as well. So they're all singing and it's like, it's kind of cool that they brought into that culture of, we're in New Zealand, we are New Zealand. Let's like, even the Aussie boys. And sometimes I feel that can sort of like, misconstrued a little bit where it's not like they're not together because it's like a little bit of like, oh, well, I want to go home or I'm here because I need to be here to make money and I don't actually want to be here, whereas I feel like they've just sort of it all clicked and he deserved it. I think
100%.
It's always one coach every year that sort of with a team that's last year I think it was like Fitzy. They didn't probably think he was going to be there and they finished like second. There's every year there seems to be a new coach that sort of does something. Let's get up the team of the year. Cool. So team of the year we've got Kalen Ponga at fullback, well deserved. Dallin got one of the wing spots, which he's been unbelievable all year. Crichton.
Yep, big fan obviously for you because he's a Bulldogs player, but personally, I would have put probably Bradman Best. I would have chose Bradman Best for me in the centres. I just thought he's been unbelievable this year. Crichton, although he's been okay, I don't think he's done anything that stood out that I'm like, you're the best centre in the game. Like I don't think he is. Like he does good things, but I don't think he's a difference maker. And I think it's going to be show next year at the Bulldogs that although he's a great player, I don't think he's going to change. He doesn't change games. He's not that sort of player. And I think for him to get team of the year, personally, this is just my opinion. I think like
I watched Bradman Best this year, and I thought he was, especially the second half of the year, he was unbelievable. I think he had his side of the defense let in the least amount of tries in the whole comp. I'm pretty sure down that left side.
Yeah.
Other than the the game in the finals where he sort of let a few in, but like over the season they don't really judge it off of finals. They judge it off of the season.
Yeah.
He was, I reckon, the best. I reckon he was the best defensive center in the comp, and that's just my opinion. Herbie, I think, deserved it.
Yep.
So he was the other center. Jermaine Asako, 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
He was like, other than Hammer, which I thought fell off towards the back end of the year, I thought Asako was the absolute leader in that team this year.
Yeah.
Even with all the other guys in there, I still thought he just was a difference maker.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I reckon Hammer just got tired,
Yeah.
to be honest. Like
He was doing a lot towards the end.
Did.
I think Origin took it out of him a lot, and
Yeah.
he didn't really recover, and they had a lot of injuries from then on.
Yeah. I reckon.
Ezra Mam, 6. I think that's fair.
Yeah, fair.
I don't think Munster did enough this year. Again, we're going off names, bro.
Yeah.
People will go, oh, Munster. I'm like, what did he do? He didn't really do anything this year. Like, he was actually quiet. He had a quiet year. He did moments again. He had moments. A lot of the time, those moments were in games that already won or whatever. He didn't necessarily stand up in a lot of games. Just obviously, like, he got, he did that kick in this to Warbrick in the final against the Roosters and stuff. But we discount the finals. It's not included. It's this regular season. I just thought he didn't play that well this year. I thought Mam was probably the most consistently good 5'8" that I can think of.
Yeah.
Sean Johnson, 7. Yep. I reckon, obviously, everyone thought he was probably at Dally M. The only other person I could probably say was close would be Cherry Evans. I thought was probably the other best 7 this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see
Do you
that.
agree with that?
Yeah.
Payne Haas, 8, obviously.
Yeah.
Harry Grant, 9. Again, I don't necessarily agree with that. I thought there was better 9s this year. I thought Wade Egan was unbelievable.
Yeah.
He had an unbelievable year. I thought Jeremy Marshall King was fucking unbelievable this year too for the Dolphins when he played. Again, I think it sometimes can fall into the name over the season when you look at the season as a whole.
Yeah.
I thought there was times where Harry Grant was pretty quiet. And I'm not saying he played bad or anything, but I just think there was better players this year.
Yeah.
Do you have any in mind?
None that immediately spring. Look, Harry Green, I think I think he just got in and did his job this year. Like, obviously, it wasn't the massive highlights that we're used to seeing.
Yeah. Even, as you said, victim to their own success. I thought Appy had a great year.
Yeah.
But
the fact
he's in a shit team. So,
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. I thought there was a couple more that, I don't know. It's give or take, right, at the end of the day. But I think, again, it's sort of like the name and the team and you're doing well and you're kind of like, oh, well, he was the best. It's like, put him in the Tigers team.
Yeah.
See if he was getting it, That's the thing. So, Adam Fanua-Blake, 100%.
100, yeah.
They were the two best props, Hassan and Adam Fanua-Blake. I think that's fair. Liam Martin.
I like that. I reckon he just comes out and he's an absolute nutcase, does exactly what they need him to do every single week. And I think he's cut a lot of errors out of his game as well this year.
I think I agree in terms of when he played, he's been great, but he was injured a lot this year too. Especially, like, people just remember the last little bit, but he was injured a lot, like, for a lot of the start of the season and middle of the season. So if you're going off a full season, was he the best? The best, the best is availability, right? And if he's not available for half the fucking year.
But still, it's all the votes. You know what I mean?
No, it doesn't do off votes
Doesn't
this
it?
year. No, it didn't do off votes.
Oh.
It was the first year they didn't do it off votes. I seen at the start of the thing. So they don't do it off of the Dally M vote system,
Okay.
apparently. They do it a different way now. That's where the whole thing with the 6-point thing. And they do it off something else, apparently.
Probably Reece Walsh was fullback of the year then.
Well, he can't because he's suspended.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So Liam Martin, Dave Fafita was the other one. Thought that was a bit. I don't know.
Did his job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I could probably go thought Ola Kawatu was really good this year.
Yeah.
He's a fucking beast.
A lot of errors though.
Yeah.
Although if you touch the ball,
changes games, man. He's a fucking just a weapon.
Yeah.
You know, you could probably go through a few, man. Who else? Just trying to think about different teams, eh?
Curtis Moran, Bulldogs, 5'2", stature of a giant.
Nat Butcher.
Yeah, don't know about that.
Made about 50 tackles every game.
Yeah. Jakey Turbo.
You know, he's not fucking outside.
Put him in there anyway.
Paddy Carrigan, 13.
Yeah, love that.
Cool.
Big fan.
Yeah, a couple ones in there. I'm a bit like, but you always get that. And it's just your opinion, right? So,
yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember how they do it. I think it's like people decide. There's like 3 people from like different things that they decide the team now, some shit. I don't know. I don't know. Something like that.
Was Toto on the other wing?
No.
Who are the wingers again?
I thought I said, it's the Sarko.
Sako and
what's his name? Dallin. Sarko and Dallin.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of wingers, man. There was a fucking lot that could have got it.
Yeah.
Like Dom Young, he was fucking sick this year.
Huge.
He was sick. Who else?
Jacob Carraz until round
Start
12.
of the year, yeah. Like he was definitely a contender.
Well, he was leading the Dally M.
That's what I mean. He was definitely a contender. And they fucked around. They moved him into center and shit for a bit. And I know you had injuries, but I just don't think that was the answer.
Yeah.
Because you just lost everything he's good at. It's like moving Suoliti into the centers when they did that. It's just like his best thing is running yardage out of the fucking end, like out of the backfield, and you put him in the centers where he can't do that. So yeah, silly. And catching high balls on the wing.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of wingers going to center. What a transition. Selwyn Cobbo has apparently said that next year he wants to move to the centres.
Yeah. That's tough.
You reckon it's good?
Oh.
Or do you reckon it might fall in the trap of exactly what we were just talking about?
Yeah, it depends. Depends what he's...
He was playing 13 one game this year. I think it was against the Dogs.
Probably.
He moved into 13 because it was when they had Origin. They had like no players.
Wouldn't surprise me. Well, like, I just think about it. And I'm like, imagine you've got your outside edge forward, and then you've got Sel and Cobbo, and then like you got either Jesse Arthurs or you just move Oatsy back onto the wing, and then all of us or Tristan Saylor even. How do you? That's 3 big bodies.
So is Oatry signing because he was gonna? His contract's up or whatever, and they're like, well, you're not really making the team, bruh. And
I'm not too sure. But
you know who I'd put on the wing? It'd be that Mariner. He's a fucking beast. He played a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, actually. I like
Arthurs was out. He was he's so quick, bro. Honestly, I reckon he's their next winger.
Well, he's playing this weekend.
No, he's not. It's Arthurs.
Oh, gotcha.
Jesse Arthurs made his way into the team when Oates got injured earlier in the year. Oates couldn't get back in, and I think he might have been injured or something. And the left wing spot was open because I think Oates and Arthurs was injured, so they put that Mariner, I'm pretty sure his name is Mariner, on the wing, and he's good.
Yeah.
He is good.
Speed kills.
Yeah, he's so fast.
Yeah.
I reckon he'll be their next winger. And then, like Oates, he'll sort of, it'll sort of be them two as the backup or whatever.
Yeah.
Or playing right. So, yeah, it makes sense. They're free. Like, they don't have a center spot freed up. So, he's going to have to move to the left as well.
Yeah. I mean, look, I just think that's another massive body.
Do you just lose what you get with him being on the wing, though? You get those meters out of the end. You know, you get, when they go down the left, down the right so much with Ponga, fucking Walsh. That he just seems to always get that cutout ball. Like they did it in the finals. How many times? Like on the weekend.
Yeah.
You just know he's there every time. And he's going to run over the fullback because he's fucking so big.
Yeah.
You put him up against a center that's sort of similar builds, and they're sort of, I don't know, man. Like it's hard because everyone's like, oh, Suli will fucking kill it in centers. And they did that. And it was just similar builds.
Yeah.
Same thing. Didn't really work. So,
yeah. I mean, look.
It's hard.
Worst comes to worst, he's put him back on the wing.
It makes the most sense for the fact that they've got a bunch of wingers coming through, but I don't know they're teamed out too much. But I don't know if they've got too many like high quality centers coming through.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either.
So like it makes the most sense to like pull him in, put a decent winger on the wing, you know. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'd sort of say like tread carefully with that sort of shit because I think we've both
let rip.
Both our teams have sort of suffered from doing the same sort of shit this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess sticking with the same sort of thing. Obviously, with the Wallabies just sucking this year in the World Cup. Firstly, we'll talk about that. What do you think about all that sort of shit?
Mate,
What's your thoughts
I
on it?
reckon this is the culmination of the very rapid decline into a shit heap that Australian Rugby Union has been going on for about the past since 2003.
Yeah, it's like all this shit that's just built into this one moment, and it just happened.
Well,
here's
a question for you.
I don't think it can get any worse.
Who's the Australian fullback?
I have no idea. I don't even.
Who's the Australian fly half?
I have no idea.
After Stephen Larkham,
Ask me how many games I've watched this year.
How many games you watched?
None.
Yeah, same.
I watched the Bledisloe.
Yeah.
And when we got pumped at MCG, it's the only Wallabies game I've watched all year.
I
used to watch every fucking game, man.
Yeah, I remember I used to
and
watch.
I'm not even a fucking Union fan, bro, and I used to watch every game.
I used to be able to name the whole Brumbies team.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you one.
Yeah. I think the best person who's talked about it, or like I've heard the best sort of talk about it, is actually
Mitchell.
no. Well, yeah, he fucking fed him the other day.
Yeah.
But I mean, like since this thing, well, obviously Sonny come out and fucking ripped. But actually, just the Hello Sport boys and what Eddie said about like they need to get rid of this this like you can't play overseas. No, you can't play overseas rule.
Yeah.
Because what's happening is like you know, I've talked to obviously Dex, my business owner, with it, and he works within, you know, first grade rugby union as S&C, so he sees it from that side as well, and you know, he agreed, and he's like, it's fucking exactly what he said.
Yeah.
Like they're saying like, you know, you got that rule in there, so you can only play for Australian teams, but the Australian system is so fucking shit. Why don't you let them go and play in Japan or something? You know,
let them go over and develop.
Make $1.5 million for 7 or like 10 games, which they play in the season. The Wallabies then have to pay them fuck all because they're making 1.5 anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
And then you can attract more league players.
Tell them go live in France, make your millions, come back.
Well, that was his argument. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I did listen.
They
to
said,
that and
yeah, like go to France. You know, you got billionaires owners over there. They'll pay you fucking, you know, whatever you want.
Well, I think
you're traveling, you're making a lot of money, you're playing a sport that you probably, you know, you're gonna probably last longer because league's fucking a lot more brutal, and you probably stand out on the wing or whatever. You know, a lot of these players. Like look at a Cam Murray. He'd be playing outside center, be doing fuck all for most of the game. You look at him now. He's fucked after 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He can't do it much longer because that cunt is. You look at him every game, he is spent, mate.
Yeah.
He plays in the middle for nearly 80 minutes every fucking game, and he is fucked.
Yeah.
And it's like, how long can he do that for?
Yeah.
Was he going to do it for another 5 years and then he's fucked?
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
You know, so it's yeah. The whole setup's wrong, I think.
Yeah.
And they just need to they just need to sort of find a way where they go, okay, you make your money there, you can play for Australia. That means all the best players can still get picked for the Wallabies.
Yeah.
You'll attract players that play for, you know, NRL teams or whatever, because you can make an extra $500,000 a year while you're traveling, you know. Plus, you're playing for the Wallabies, which, you know, supposed to be this big thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Used to be this big.
They're just doing it wrong, man. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's they've just dug themselves a hole, and then I think the hole was there for a long time, and then this World Cup has just pulled the cover off it.
100%.
Everyone's like, oh, we are.
Everyone, it's pulled the cover off what everyone already knew.
Yeah.
You know, like how many times, like everyone's been talking about that shit for years, bro. Like, oh, it's fucked. But this is like shown the world that it's fucked. You know what I mean? It's not just like, oh, we know.
No, 100%.
That everyone knows now. You know? The big question, the main question I was sort of going to ask though is like, what do you reckon the go is with Suoliti now? Like Dex was saying that he thinks that he's going to stay now. He just thinks like, you look at that. I don't know. Is he? So he signed for the Wallabies. Who's he playing for? Does he just play for who's his club team?
Don't know yet. Brumbies, I hope.
Like, has he signed for it? Like, I don't know.
He'd probably go to the Waratahs or something like that.
Has he signed for him though?
I don't know.
And this is the thing. So the Wallabies are going to have to pay his whole contract
Yeah.
for him playing for the Waratahs, and then you know, and getting fucking 1,000 people at the games. Just
Yeah, I don't know.
it doesn't make sense, man. They've just fucked themselves so bad.
Well, I remember even like the first couple of years I moved to Brisbane, we'd go to they used to have like the Super 14. They had the 9s or the 7s of that. And that was brilliant. But then I was sitting there and then like, you know, once those 2 or 3 people that you actually know aren't playing anymore, you're like, well, what's the point going?
You're watching fucking no names run
Well,
around on
not
a
no
field.
names, but just people.
Well, they're no names, bro.
Yeah.
They're no names. They could be names, but there's not enough fucking hype around it. They are no names.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what, you might get one Wallaby player playing in one of the games or whatever, because all the rest are fucking. Well, you might get Wallabies players, but they're not. They shouldn't be Wallabies players because the actual Wallabies players are playing overseas because they're like, oh, I'm gonna make some fucking money.
Yeah.
Like, I know players that are playing overseas that have like played in Japan or playing in Japan now. They play 10 games a year. They're probably first grade standard in like the Queensland comp. So they'd be playing for like Brothers or North or whatever it is, right? And they're probably only that standard. They're playing, you know, second division rugby in Japan, making $300-400 grand a year.
That's a good way to live. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. 100%.
You know what I mean? So, fuck, man. I don't know. I think the whole system's a bit fucked. What do I think about Suoliti? I don't know. Honestly, don't know. Like, if he stays at the Roosters, where are we playing him? I don't even know where we're playing him next year.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
where's he playing?
Where's he playing? Maybe Suoliti's going to end up on the wing for the Broncos.
Maybe. I just look at it and I'm like, you know, they've re-signed Tupou. He's a legend of the club. They're not going to fucking get rid of him, right?
Yeah.
So they've just re-signed him. That he's going to be that. He can't play anywhere else as well. So he's going to be the left winger.
Yeah.
Billy Smith has earned his right to play left center. He was unbelievable for us. I reckon he's our best player the last 6-7 weeks of the year.
Yeah.
Right center's Manu. You know, on his day, he's the best center in the whole game.
Yeah.
And then right wing, well, you just signed
Dom Young.
arguably one of the best wingers of this year. You know, so where's he going to play? You know, someone was saying 14 the other day.
Yeah. Yeah. And that'd be good to watch.
It'd be good to watch, but it's like,
It's a lot of.
will he stay around for play 14? You know what I mean, as well. So, or it's like, cool, man, you play 14 this year, you stay with us,
And
like, back out your Wallabies, and then
you
Tupou's gone next year. You play left wing.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro.
I don't know.
It's hard.
I don't know.
Another one. So Momirovski's apparently going to sign with the Leeds Rhinos. I just sort of saw this here, and you said you wanted to talk about it purely because the implications of what you think that means for the Roosters.
Yeah. Well,
Tell us. What do you reckon?
I just want to know who they're clearing space for. 'Cause if there's one thing that the
Maybe
Roosters
just because
do-
our fucking roster's fucked and they need to clear space to pay people.
Yeah, look, I don't know. Look, I sit there and I think Nick Politis is too smart a businessman to stuff a roster. You know what I mean? I reckon.
Yeah, but he's not even.
But
he's not making the team, man. That's the thing. So what's the point?
But they're scheming. That's look.
But
that's
like, you
all
look
I'll
at
leave
that,
for
you look at Momirovski and you're like, well, he's not going to make the team. He's played 5 clubs in 7 years or some shit.
Yeah.
So he's obviously just a journeyman. Like, he wouldn't be on that much money, bro. He'd be on like 300K, I reckon.
Yeah, but look, what is 300K? And by the way, Nick
So how are you going to
Politis is
sign
all-
fucking?
You're getting a car dealership.
How are you
in
going to
your name
sign
as
Keon
well.
for 850, 900?
I heard he likes jet skis.
The only way I can see it happening is if Crichton leaves, because he's on about 850, 900.
Well, then he goes to ARU, and
It's going to be more Crichton going more so than Momirovski, I think.
next thing you know, you got Keon and Luke Thompson.
Luke Thompson just signed with someone in.
It's not confirmed.
Super League.
It's not confirmed, and I hope
He's not coming to the Roosters. I don't think.
well, he's not staying at the Bulldogs either.
No, and you don't have any forwards, so
I can't be running out there at this rate.
I think you might be because I can't think of any forwards you have. Who's your forward pack? Name 2 props. You can't.
Curtis Morin.
You can't name him.
Curtis Morin.
He's a fucking.
He's
Dead
shorter.
shit.
He's shorter than Reed Marnie.
Yeah.
He plays prop.
Who's the other? Is it Josh King or whatever his name is?
Max King.
Max King.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a gun.
He's gone. That's about the only player you fucking got in your forward pack, bro.
No, we got Takiyaho, who's 45.
Did he actually sign though? I haven't seen any confirmed signings.
Kickout never technically signed with us.
Well, he did eventually. He signed. They just didn't. But then they got the jersey out and shit.
Yeah.
He did sign with you.
The same thing's happened again. They're just not going to make a formal
Yeah.
announcement, I don't think.
Yeah, he's going to struggle next year with that. But I don't think Keon's going to leave, man. We don't need him. I look at our outside or our edge rowers. You've got Nat Butcher.
Mm-hmm.
I think Egan Butcher's a better middle coming off the bench, but can definitely play there. He showed it.
Yep.
Got better as the year went on. You've got Tupanua, who's going to come back in.
Yep.
Absolute fucking throbber.
Yep.
You've got Crichton, who's if he stays, but so we'll just say Crichton goes.
Yep.
You've got Sia Wong, who's a fucking beast, and he's going to be the next, I think he's going to be the next fucking Sonny Bill. Like, he's unbelievable.
You look good in a Bulldog shirt.
And then you've got Radley played out there sometimes this year.
Yeah. Too many options.
You've got a fuckload, man.
Yeah.
So it's like you look at your starting players, or I think Nat Butcher's, he's nailed down a spot, and it's not because he's like flaring, he's going to do. And a lot of people I see say, oh, it's going to be Tupanua and Sia Wong. Might be in a couple of years, but what do you want in your team, man? Like, it's not always about who's the best, like who can fucking come on and make a difference. It's like you put him next to any half in the comp, and you know he's going to do a job, and he's going to make 50 tackles a game and look after them.
Yeah.
You know. So I'd always keep him in the team, and then you've got 3 or 4 other gun, second rowers that can do the job. So why do you need to sign Keon on 900, 950K, and then you could put that in towards someone else that's like a difference maker.
Yeah.
I just look at it like that, but
that's fair.
Yeah, cool. So I saw before that apparently Gus thinks that the Broncos are going to be smashed by 20 points in the grand final.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
I think that this is either going to be the best grand final of the past 50 years, or it's going to be over within 26 minutes and Reece Walsh is going to throw a ball into the third row looking for Selwyn Cobbo, who's 15.
What about the other way around?
Hey?
What about the other way around?
Mate, look.
Because you can see them scoring fucking 4 quick tries and being 20-0 as well.
Yeah.
Broncos way.
Yeah.
Because that's just what they can do, man.
Yeah, but Panthers won't let them.
I don't know.
Like,
you can see it. That's
don't
the
get me
thing.
wrong. I'm very excited. It's probably the most excited I've been for a grand final in a minute.
And like people go, oh, I wish the Wars made it or whatever. And
No,
it's like,
don't, because
it's
the
like these were the
Wars-
2 best teams of the comp all year. They deserve to verse each other, and we deserve to see it.
100%.
We deserve to see that showdown of who is the best, because they are the best.
Yeah, and like I'm as I said, very very excited, but I just don't know what's gonna happen, because Panthers, that they're just gonna squeeze and suffocate, and then and then all of a sudden it's that one knock on, and that's all it takes. That's all it takes.
And that knock on can come from them doing those errors, like the Broncos.
Exactly.
Pardon me.
Oh jeez.
No. Oh, it'll knock me out. No.
Froggy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I understand where he's coming from, but it's a big call.
I'm a big believer that you've got to lose one to win one.
Yeah. And he was adamant. He's like, they will get beat by 20.
Yeah.
He's like, it's going to be 30-10.
Yeah, because Nathan Cleary kicks 2-point field goals. It'd be 26-6, and Nathan Cleary's bang 2 over in 2 sets, because why not?
Or they just score another try and don't convert.
Yeah, maybe. Probably a bit more likely. But yeah, I'm actually excited for a grand final, because like last year I was like, oh yeah, sick. But like, and it's just weird to think that, like, growing up you'd hear your dad be like, oh yeah, the buddy watching the Raiders, or like your grandpa would be like, yeah, watching the Dogs.
This is going to be us talking about the Panthers, man.
We like literally you're sitting there and you're like, holy shit, like this is happening.
Yes.
And the thing is, people say you don't see it until it's over. Whereas this now, people are starting to recognize, like, holy shit, like if they win this weekend, you're starting to talk like greatest run ever.
Yeah.
Because I hate to say it, but you put those boys from 1970 against Moses Leota coming off
Oh,
the back
mate.
fence with
Yeah.
a bit of fancy footwork late at the line, or James Fisher-Harris when he starts scrunching his eyes.
The difference
together.
is the people in 1970, mate, were probably not even training. I mean, they're working full time. They're doing this and that.
Well,
These kids are coming through. Like, I saw. Have you? Oh, I think I told you to watch it, but I don't think you have the Ben Teo thing. He was
I watched
talking
a bit of it. Yeah,
Yeah, he was talking about
The
how
SNC
you know
and
he
stuff
worked.
like
Yeah,
that.
he worked with the Bulldogs kids, and like he's like, I didn't even start lifting a weight till I was 18.
Yeah.
He goes, these kids come through at 12 years old now.
Yeah,
Started they're doing their SNC. Like we train in my gym. I train kids from the age of 11 up to 18.
and the little runt still squat more
You
than
know,
me.
because it's like when I was fucking that old, don't lift weights, you'll stunt your growth, all this shit. It's bullshit. It's
Still
bullshit,
short
man.
ass.
And you know, if you can, you're not going to get them doing fucking bench press when they're 12 years old, right?
Yeah.
But let's start moving the foundations of what you need to do. So let's start them to do push-ups. Let's start doing
Bit of
pistol
band
squats onto a bench, band stuff. So it builds the foundations of them, and then as they grow, and as they like go through adolescence, they start to move into more that. So when they are 17, 18, they're fucking beasts already. They've got the foundational work of, you know, what they can do, and then they are lifting, they are benching, they are squatting, they are doing all these things.
Yeah,
And they've already like 4 or 5 years in front of these kids that, you know, don't do that, that are 18 and stuff. And it's like, he's like, you know, when I was there, I had Paddy Carrigan and Payne Haas and Flegler and Tony Staggs, and these kids had like done that.
coming in fucking jacked at 18. Yeah.
Exactly. And he's like, fuck me, like
terrifying.
Jesus Christ. He even said like some of them do fucking pre-seasons at like 17, 16, you know, they come
which
into the season
crazy
before they're even like signed, but
Yeah.
like it's part of their contracts, you know?
But like getting back to the weekend, if Penrith win, because I honestly don't know how it's going to go. If Penrith win, are they the greatest team of the modern era? And if they lose, is it a bit of a changing guard where you think you'll see the Broncos in the granny for the next couple of years, and then with that, it just shows like Penrith can bleed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you say the modern era, where does that start? What's the modern era?
I'm saying, when I say modern era, I mean,
Like where does that start? If you have to, and you have to like talk about what teams.
I'm going 2005 onwards.
I don't think 5's even modern, bro. I think it has to be like 2010 onwards.
Yeah.
Because even you look at a game, you watch a game back in 2005 now,
2004 grand
it's a
final.
fucking lot different,
Yeah.
isn't it?
It's completely different.
Because I'd almost say from 2004 or 2005 back to like, you know, mid 90s,
You could probably get away with it.
I think that's a different era.
Yeah.
Like I'd put probably the Roosters in there not because I'm a fan of them, but we made the 2000, 2002, 2003, 2004 grand final.
Yeah, but then
I know we only won one, but still, like
then you got
that's
the Broncos, Bulldogs. Yeah.
Broncos, and probably I think Broncos, Bulldogs, Roosters were probably the best of that time.
Yeah.
And then you could probably
And then-
argue
and
either
then
way.
all of a sudden you got Storm and Manly kicking around.
And then from about, I think 2006, 8, we'll say we'll go like 2008-ish
Yeah.
onwards. I think it was like until about 2014, 13. I think it was like Manly.
Yeah.
You know, you had those fucking throbbers.
And then all of a sudden you got
Melbourne.
You've got Cameron Smith, Cooper Cronk, Billy Slater.
And
GI just
I think it was
floating around the
Manly,
back.
Melbourne around that period.
Yeah.
You know, and then probably like more modern, it's probably been like the Roosters again.
Yeah.
For, you know,
And then this sleeping
because
Giants.
they won back to back. That hadn't happened in 40 years or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
But then but it's hard to say, you know, they were good for 2 years and they had Cooper Cronk for those 2 years and it's shit. And it's like, so does that mean that era, the modern era, they've been the best or not?
Yeah.
Whereas like you look at this Penrith team, you go, they've been together, they've done it for 4 years, really.
Yeah.
They've made the grand final for 4 years.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
That's why I can't, you know, you could say, oh, Melbourne, but it's like, I don't know, dude. I think this is better. Like, this is probably the best team I've ever watched
100%. 100%. And I know
in my lifetime, and I'm 32.
I know when I'm sitting there and I'm old and decrepit and I've got dementia and I can't remember anything, all I'll be able to say is that fuck, that Penrith team was good.
Like I look at other things. I remember the first time I ever, like with the first year I ever started watching football was 2000. That Broncos team.
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
But you look at like,
Sustained success.
but then you look at back then, and they had unlimited interchange. So in the grand final against the Roosters, they dominated because they had fucking like the massive forwards coming off the bench.
Yeah.
I think they made like 52 fucking interchanges in that
you
game.
just do a hit up and come off.
Legit. So it's like that doesn't really show
Yeah.
either, right? Like, so and what is it now? Like 8?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. I hate to say it, but I don't hate to say it. I think if Penrith
I think even if they lose, I think right now they're I'd have to say they're the best team I've ever watched in terms 100%. Of like over a continuous period.
Yeah.
For 4 years, dude. Yeah. They've been, maybe the first year they weren't the absolute best. I think Melbourne was still, to be fair, I actually think they were the best that year. I think didn't they go on like a 17-game winning streak that year?
Yeah.
I think that was
something ridiculous.
Something ridiculous. So like, I still thought they were the best team that year. They were just young that it got down to the big dance and they didn't fire. Because they had.
It's where it comes back. You have to lose one to win one.
Yeah. They were very young.
Yeah.
All that sort of shit. And it was like, I feel Broncos this year are what they were that year.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I mean. And that's where it's like, all of a sudden, if the Broncos win, like, is it going to be all of a sudden now there's the big two instead of just Penrith?
Or even if they lose.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, fuck.
Like
it almost sparks more next year. Just like, well, okay, we lose.
Yeah. Like,
fuck.
I don't want to roll.
We got there. We want to get back in.
Yeah.
We want to get there again.
Yeah, 100%.
It'd be interesting to see next year as well what happens with the Panthers.
Yeah.
Do they fire again? Like, obviously, they keep a lot of their team.
Do you lose that drive?
But they lose some players. Leota's going.
Yeah,
it's not Leota. Linu. Like, they don't really lose too much. They lose Crichton.
But if I'm sitting there and I'm saying,
not too much.
All right, I'm taking away the Roosters. If I'm taking away a Joey Manu and Victor Radley, like, there goes Appy and kick out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's hard, eh?
That's what I mean. Like, they're so fucking good.
Yeah.
Honestly, I might just buy myself a fucking jersey.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's nice to be excited for a grand final and not just be walking in being like, oh.
And it's nice, like, being a different team in terms of, like, it's the same team. But I mean, over the last 3-4 years, it's the same team. But they were nowhere to be seen before that.
Yeah.
And it's not like for 10 years we've had to watch the same fucking team win because it was normally Melbourne or, the Roosters, I know, but that's your team, so whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, especially Melbourne, they will always seem to be there in the, and it's kind of nice to see that guard sort of changed a little.
Nice to see him lose.
Yeah.
I'll say it. Fuck Melbourne.
Yeah.
I like him, but fuck him.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, it's going to be sick.
Yeah.
We almost did like a grand final preview just then, so.
Yeah.
We'll just talk about this little one and then we'll move on to I want to do a season review of both the Storm Warriors. We've done one every time teams have dropped off.
Yeah, 100%.
And then, we'll wrap up. But Bulldogs apparently have signed or about to sign Jason Taylor from the Bears as their assistant coach next year. So I think you've got, is it Dean Pay there as well?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so Dean Pay, obviously.
Oh, no, sorry, not Dean Pay, Mick Potter.
Mick Potter, yeah. Was he was their coach a couple of years ago?
Oh, just before Cam Serraldo. So when we started going good, before we went to shit again.
Did you have Dean Pay as coach as well?
Dean Pay was before Mick Potter.
Right.
No, sorry, Dean Pay was before Trent Barrett, who was before Mick Potter.
Yes.
Sorry, there's been a couple since Desi.
What do you think about that? He was a assistant coach for the Roosters for a while.
Yeah.
Before he went back to the Bears. Obviously, that's for their feeder team. But
no,
decent coach.
I'm a big fan of it. I just think it's just another bit of experience because you got to remember Cam Serraldo's first year as a head coach.
Yeah.
And he's been handed, I say this with the greatest respect, a steaming pile of shit that he's now trying to, like, you get used to losing, you're going to fucking lose.
Yeah. I think they did well at the start of the year to turn like the culture a little bit.
Yeah, like
but we've talked about it
here when we were. I think it might have been Aaron's birthday.
Yeah.
Sitting here and they played Melbourne that night, and then Melbourne started coming back, and I was like, "Oh fuck, we're gonna lose," and we won. Like that wouldn't have happened last year or the year before that. Did we also go?
But you saw that the first 10 rounds, and then you saw as the season started to get on, longer season, kicks in, younger fellas.
Well, injuries. This as well.
I know. And you have no depth as is.
No. Then like that's the point of Gus Gould. That's why.
That's why he's trying to build the pathways now. And
100%.
if you haven't watched the bloke thing with Gus, because it's actually really, really, really good.
Yeah.
And he explains it of what they're doing. It's not just about right now. And he said it might not even work in the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
He said, but I tell you now, in the next
10 years,
10 years,
all of a sudden things are looking
you're going to have
different.
gun after gun after gun. And guess what? Guess what he did at Panthers?
Yeah.
And what do they have now? They lose their player. Guess what? They filled him with someone else.
Next man up.
Next
and
man
it's
up.
like it's nothing.
Yep. So, you'd hope, in the next 5 to 10 years, you'd be really kicking.
Yeah.
But, I think he'll do a good job, man. He's a
look,
decent coach.
it's just more experience, and that's what we need. I think it's going to be more, as long as there's still like that clear direction. Like Serrato's like, yes, this is the way we're going to do it, and then as long as it's just supporting that, like a nice, well-fitted bra.
Yeah.
Serrato's the
Big
biggest.
E-cup bra.
And then 2 assistants just holding on nice.
Nice. That's a good metaphor, mate. Thank you. All right, season review for Storm and Warriors. We'll do Storm first.
Yeah.
Very up and down year for the Storm, but when you look at it, you can understand why. Like, they lost a lot of their really senior players.
Yeah.
They lost Cheese, they lost Bromwiches, they lost Kafusi.
And then there was the injuries as well.
Pat wasn't there most of the year, I don't know, even though he's not like a really, really...
He's probably their best player on his
No,
team.
I just mean he's not like an experienced player that would get that
but
through.
Jerome Hughes in and out. You've got rookie wingers. You've got centers.
Yeah, Munster having a quiet year.
Yeah.
Rookie wingers, as you said, as in like...
I think everyone was saying, like they've got to have a shit year eventually, and we're like, oh, they've had a really shit year as they've lost a prelim to a team that's probably going to win their 4th grand final in a row.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's so crazy.
To me, the year is still a tick. You know what I mean?
Fuck yeah. We normally give a grading, but we'll do it at the end. But yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, look, I think everything said and done, like they were really, like, what was it? I think Bellamy lost 2 or 3 games in a row for the first time in like 10 years or something.
Yeah.
like
So
that.
there was like moments of you like, this could get derailed pretty quickly this
yeah.
season here, but then it like, they somehow would fight through it.
Yeah,
and they
100%.
come back again. You're like, fuck, what the fuck?
It's
Yeah, there was a
fucking
couple
just
games I remember
suck.
through the year they like got pumped.
Yeah,
And we're like,
and you're like,
oh,
it's happening.
I haven't
It's
seen
happening.
this ever.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
And then they'd sort of come back, and the week after they'd pump someone else, and you're like, oh fuck.
yeah.
But yeah, it's like there was cracks starting to show.
Yeah.
And you just like, fuck, I don't know, man. But I think it's a similar team next year. And you'd hope that the younger fellas that have had their first sort of full year, they're probably going to be better next year, which is scary.
Yeah, which is insane. Like, it's just because you can see it, like, obviously they're not at the Panthers level where it's like, oh yeah, like Maverick Geyer, for example, when he came in, looked like an absolute gun. But what's his name? The one that I like that pretty much sunk the Roosters season with that step in the semi.
Who are we talking about? For
the Storm.
Oh, Storm.
Blonde hair. I don't know, whatever his fucking name is. It's not Warbrick. He's like a half or hooker.
Oh,
Wishart,
yeah.
Yeah, like, and you see people like him just waiting in the wings for their chance to jump in, and you're like,
Wishart's like the next Nico. Like, in terms of, he might not be as good as him, but he played that exact same role that Nico played in the 20 grand final.
Yeah, but
he didn't come on the field, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like
but
you
can sit there and you're like, this is the cycle's just, you can see it. The fucking washing machine's just hit start on another cycle. It's filling up with water, but we're about to be spinning soon.
And they've got like Pezzett, who's played a bit this year, and he's another one that's sort of in the wings. So.
Like, I think they're a young forward, like another Tino.
Or even that young fella that played the last round.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. What was his name? I can't remember his name.
I don't know, but he's fucking good.
Falongo or something, his name was something like that.
Yeah.
But he was a beast, and you're like, fuck. He looks like a Pappy, but a better version of him, almost.
Yeah, and you just
which is fucked.
and you're just like, fuck, like this whole cycle is just about to start again.
But then Bellamy's leaving soon. That's the thing. So the cycle might start, but unless it's probably going to be Riles, right? Like, they'll have another assistant.
Yeah.
Like,
but how long's Riles been sitting under? How long's Riles?
That's what I'm saying.
There?
Yeah.
And you're going to do a Wayne Bennett.
Oh, and then he left there, and guess where he went? Oh, the Roosters. So he learned even more. Like, you know what I mean? It's like he didn't ever fuck off anywhere bad. You know.
That's what I mean.
Like, you got to look at it. The perfect example of that is he left the Roosters said, "Are you going to stay on next year?" Yes. It was a handshake agreement. You can't communicate with other teams because you've made a handshake agreement where you're staying on. Yes.
Yeah.
He started talking to the Dragons, and we were like, "Fuck off." And he's like, "Sweet." You got to look at it and you go, he was talking to the Dragons, and then Melbourne, and then he ended up signing with Melbourne as an assistant coach.
Yeah.
Put 2 and 2 together there. What have they said to him?
Yeah.
Sit down for us for one more year, and then you'll be our head coach.
Yeah.
What would you rather?
Oh, man.
An absolute fucking shit pile over here, or you pick up this with all these guns coming through,
Yeah.
a team of fucking champions already,
And Billy
then,
Slater just hangs out in the sheds.
yeah, just hangs out with you.
Yeah.
Fucking Cam Smith comes down every now and again, and fucking gives you
Yeah.
some, Yeah, look, what do you say about them, man? They're just fucking good, and I
Yeah.
hate it because I don't really like the Storm, but
Yeah.
it's hard not to
they're just gonna do
when
it
they do
again.
it when they do that. So, I would give them I'm gonna give them an A.
Yeah, B
I don't-
plus, A minus for me.
A minus.
Yeah,
B
A
plus?
minus. A minus. I made it to a fucking prelim.
Why
What
have you
am I
taken
saying?
it off it? Like, why is it not higher? What's the main reasons for it? If you looked at the start of the year, would you say that team was? You look on paper,
Yeah.
would that team make the grand final? No.
No.
Would that team make a prelim?
Maybe.
But probably not. Like on paper. Don't look at this end of the year. Think about back to the very start of the year. It was
Yeah.
easy for me and Joel and stuff because we actually did previews.
Yeah.
And I didn't have them making
Yeah.
a prelim.
Yeah. I don't know.
You look at it and I'm going, they've exceeded my expectations, so that's why it's an A.
Yeah. But
If they made the grand final, not won it, but made it, that's an A plus for me. Like you have to. Like,
my expectation is just it's the Storm. Like they're making.
yeah, I know. You got to remove that expectation because the team's different. Like there was a lot of new players this year, man.
Yeah, I know. And that's what I mean.
That's where you almost just go, fuck, they exceeded by
Yeah.
far. So for me, it was an A.
Look, it's an A minus.
Yeah.
Because, like, if they didn't have that shit start, imagine how much like less pressure they're coming in with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's fair, man.
Yeah.
Warriors.
A.
A plus.
A plus.
I'm gonna say it already.
Yeah, straight
But
up.
yeah, we've already talked about him a little bit.
Yeah.
With the culture and stuff.
Yeah.
When we talked about Andrew Webster.
Yeah.
But just it was just a wave of just it built and built and built into
Yeah.
this fucking unbelievable.
I think the biggest moment that I can think of, like, yeah, they made a prelim and all that sort of stuff, and that was crazy. I think the biggest moment for me watching the Warriors this year was that game against the Sharks, where they came back and Sean Johnson was like doing his post game interview, and he comes out and he says,
Up the
like,
bars.
no, like at halftime, and he said,
I think
like,
he said that on that game, didn't he?
yeah, probably. I think that's where it started. But he said in their halftime chat, he's like, "This would be the greatest story to tell our grandkids
100%.
if we came back and won this," which they did. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
And that was a sick game to watch. Like, did the Sharks fuck themselves? Yeah. But at the end of the day, like, a win's a win. And I think that for me is probably their highlight of the season.
Yeah,
It was just insane.
I know, man. Hectic, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, man. There's not much more to say. They're
Yeah.
just fucking unbelievable this
Yeah.
year. Like, they've exceeded everyone's expectations. I think even Warriors fans. So
Yeah, 100%.
you can't give them anything but an A plus on that.
100%.
Cool. Sweet, man. Let's just quickly, obviously we talked a lot about the grand final already. We'll just go through the teams and any last sort of comments, and then we'll wrap it up, dude. So we'll go through the Panthers lineup first. So Dylan Edwards at fullback, wingers Taruva and Toto. You got your centers as Tago and Crichton, so pretty normal back line there. Luai Cleary as your halves, Leota, Mitch Kenny, Fisher Harris in the middle. Scott Sorensen on the edge.
Yep.
Liam Martin on the other edge, and Isaiah Yeo at 13. 14 is Jack Cogger. Lindsay Smith, 15. Spencer Lenu, 16. And 17 is Luke Garner. 18th man is Tyron Peachy.
Yep.
When you look at that team, anyone you'd sort of change or you think might be a bit different there, man?
On their day, that team is just it's a freight train, man.
I look at it and I say the only person I find that might be slightly... There's probably two people.
Scotty Sorensen.
Scotty Sorensen, I think he is better off the bench.
Yeah.
But I can see why he's been put in the teams. He's been playing in that team for a few years, and I think he's sort of at a point where they probably just trust him or clearly trust him. I think the person that's really unlucky to miss out is Zach Hosting.
Yeah,
He's been really fucking good this year. and Luke Garner hasn't played that much.
Yeah.
And for him to get in over Hosting, I thought was a big call and probably a little bit harsh on him, I
Yeah.
thought. And then I thought Matt Eisenhuth has been with them for a while and he's played very, very well for him as well. And I thought Lindsay Smith to be in over Eisenhuth's a big call as well.
Yeah.
Clearly they've gone the way of Jack Cogger at 14 as well, and I think that's purely in case Luai breaks down.
Yeah.
That they can chuck him straight in. So I can understand
Well, he
that.
can go anywhere as well.
Go anywhere, but he's clearly covering Luai. Like that's what I can see there. I don't think he'll play many minutes, man.
No.
Like he might come on at 9 for a little bit, give Kenny a rest here or there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's probably how I see it.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, so we'll go through the Broncos team. So you've got Reece Walsh at fullback, Jesse Arthurs and Selwyn Cobbo on the wings, Tony Staggs and Farnworth in the centres. So Farnworth's pulled up with a bit of a quad injury this week, but they reckon he'll be okay. So see what happens there. It'd be interesting to see if he doesn't play, who they'd put in centre.
Selwyn Cobbo. OT comes onto the wing.
Probably,
Yeah.
It'd probably be, So I can't really think of what else you'd do there, unless you put that'd probably be the only way. Ezra Mam at 6, Reynolds at 7. You've got Flegler and Payne Haas as your props, and Billy Walters 9. Capewell is 11, Jordan Ricky 12, and Patrick Carrigan at 13. 14's Tyson Smoothie, 15 Brendan Petora, 16 Kobe Hetherington, and 17 is Keenan Paliasia.
Yep.
Corey Oates, 18th man. It's interesting to see the young fellas come into that team over the back end of the year.
Yeah.
So Tapau was definitely their bench player all year, and then he made that really, really costly high knee after apparently Kevy reckons he talked to him through the week, and he went and did it, and then I think it just put him down the pecking order, and I think Pecora and Palacia were fucking guns through that period when Ricky was out and there was a few injuries, and they just sort of worked their way into the team.
Yeah.
That's fair, big call, because you got a really experienced guy into Power, but they've clearly just stuck by the young guns, man. I guess that's just the way they see the team.
I think it'd just be a big attitude thing.
Yeah.
I think, and it just I'm 100% for it.
Yeah, I get it for sure.
Yeah.
But you've got two young guys there.
Yeah.
Like, it's big call, because you could easily still play one of them and then one of them go, look, we want the experience, you know.
Yeah.
But obviously you're going to pick the team you did last week as well, but if they're available. But even last week, man, it's been a big call for him to do that, but fair enough.
No, I'm very excited for like the first 20 minutes when those forwards are just
banging,
jamming each other.
Yeah. That's going to be it's going to be so good to watch.
Yeah.
You know, Flegler, Haas up against, you know, Leota and Fisher Harris. It's going to be one of the battles of the year, man.
Yeah. And just
unbelievable.
Everything's just going to be amplified because obviously grand final.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a matter of who blinks first.
Yeah,
like
I think so.
Who's going to be the first one to go?
Yeah.
And I think the other challenge will be for Brizzy not letting the occasion get to him. Like obviously Adam Reynolds is going to be massive for this, but like I imagine if there's an inexperienced 7 there, all of a sudden they're 20 minutes in and it's still that arm wrestle and they're like, all right, we're not scoring, quickly get the ball out the back, and that's...
You'd almost say the two best forward packs in the game, but also the two best kickers in the game.
Yeah.
So who can kick to field position? So who's going to win the middle? But then sometimes your kicker can get you out of trouble. And you've got Cleary and Reynolds, who I think are the two best kickers in the game.
Well, yeah.
So it's like a battle of that as well. I think that's where it's going to come down to.
I wonder if there's a market on Adam Reynolds for a 40-20 within the first 25 minutes.
But same with Cleary, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like it's going to be.
But if your forward pack's not making meters and you can see it, bro, and then you fucking under pressure and you're having a kick. You normally see when 40-20s happen, they happen because your team's rolling down the field.
Yeah.
You've got momentum, the line's not coming up on you, and you can fucking kick with momentum into that corner. If you're getting rushed and you fucking getting the kickoff, it's normally going high. It's not going with pace into a corner.
Yeah.
You know, and you sort of look at that and you go, well, it's going to be who wins the middle, dude. It's really what it's going to come down to. You look at the team, very even. You know, your nines are about the same. So, that, you know, there's no real big spark out of 9.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like they have Appy this year. So, you know, you're not going to get that craftiness. You probably got the same sort of player at 9. You know, your wingers, I would probably edge and say Well, it's hard because you've got Cobbo, who I think's really good. Arthur's who's a bit new.
Yeah.
And then you've got the same sort of thing with the Panthers. You've got, Toto, which is a beast, but then you've got, Taruva, although he's rookie of the year, he's not as good. Fullbacks are both
think
guns.
Just on the wings, I think that the Toto versus Cobbo is going to be like, obviously I think they're playing on opposite wings, but
they play opposite. Yeah.
Yeah, but them when they're coming out of trouble, obviously Toto's just going to bounce off the first three people and get a quick play the ball. And it's like, is it going to be up to Cobbo to come in and do a bit more work to sort of compete with that? And then on the other hand, obviously you got Liam Martin who's going to get in there, be an absolute dog, especially in that 20 minutes after half time, 20 minutes before half time. But at the same time, you got Reece Walsh, and you don't even have to give him a sniff of space, and he'll just punish you for it.
Yeah. I found it really interesting. The Panthers have switched Crichton Tago around. Like Crichton's been playing left.
Yeah.
And Tago's been playing right. Whereas when they were going through their really good spell, like when they were both fit, so obviously Tago's just come back. Tago was left with Taruva, and that's when he did really well with last year and stuff as well. And they've had Crichton on the right, and I don't think it's looked as good.
Yeah, it's probably just defensive experience.
Yeah, I just feel like they both looked more shaky.
Yeah.
Playing opposite sides. So that'll be interesting to see if they switch back or what they do. Who would they be up against? I think. So if Crichton stays on the left, I'd rather probably Crichton defending against Tritoni, who'd probably be if he stayed on the left, he'd be up against Tritoni.
Yeah.
And then Tago would be up against Farnworth, the two motherfuckers, to be honest. Like, I don't know who. Like they're both.
I don't know who you like.
Tritoni's probably worse at the line, but then coming out of like Meteridge, fucking Farnworth's probably the best.
Then you got.
I reckon he's the best center in the game for Meteridge.
The problem is you start jamming in on Farnworth. Next thing you know, you got Pretty Ricky popping up on his left shoulder.
Exactly.
And you're like, fuck.
Yeah. So it's going to be a big one, man.
Yeah.
So evenly matched. Who you going with?
I think Panthers get it done on experience.
Yeah, I'm going Panthers.
I'm going Panthers. What's your score prediction?
You go.
No, you.
I'm going to go Panthers. I'm going to go 18-16 Panthers. Tight one. 3 tries each. One will miss a conversion.
Maybe a bit controversial. I'm going Panthers with the Broncos scoring 14 and Panthers ending up like 28-30. 14-30 Panthers win.
14-30.
Yep.
Panthers.
Yep.
Righto. Let's see if this works, but I'm going to call Joel and see if we can get his prediction live on air. If he doesn't answer, I've already got his prediction, but let's see if he can. Let's see what we got.
Shit, Joe.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello, country.
Hey, you're live on air. We just wanted to get your prediction, mate.
Panthers by 10.
Panthers, you went Broncos earlier.
I've changed.
Oh, he's fucking changed. Lucky. Why are you changing?
They're just elite, mate.
Elite.
They're elite.
Yeah.
They're just going to suffocate those cunts.
That's what we said.
Right, same adjectives.
Like, part of me thinks like it'd be sick to see the Broncos win, but
yeah,
I don't know. It'd also be good to see 3-peat, I reckon.
Yeah.
No matter who loses, football's the real winner.
Exactly right, Ed, you cunt. Keep my seat warm for me, you dog.
Yeah, I might just leave.
Yeah, we sort of just said that, like, I think, I feel like the Broncos right now seem to be like the Panthers were in that 2020 grand final, like that young 100%. Team, but they haven't been there yet, and I just feel like they might just get beaten.
Got to lose.
Next year they might win it, but
yeah, exactly.
Got to lose one to win one.
You need to lose one to win one, I reckon. So
yeah, no, that's it.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Thanks for your tip. All right.
Yeah, all good.
Catch you later. Bye.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's Joel's tip.
Sounds pretty healthy.
Yeah, look, he sounds pretty good. I think he's just been he was pretty sick to start of the week, but yeah. All right, that's it. Been a good season. Hopefully Joel will be back next week. We'll do a little review of the grand final. Thanks for filling in, Edward.
Anytime, mate. Do you want to let the viewers know what's coming up?
What's coming up?
The boys are getting on the Terps in front of the mics. There's going to be 4 of us.
Are we? We can try. It's just hard. You got one camera, but
Yeah.
we're trying to sort some stuff out where we can do. I'll probably do some. I wouldn't mind doing like the Aussie games or something like that. Would be cool.
Me and Joe could sit on one chair, and you and Joel
Sit on
the
each other's
other.
lap.
Yeah, sit on each other's lap.
Yeah.
But you,
All right.
you were all for it when you were
Yeah.
a few drinks deep.
Oh,
a couple
look,
weeks
it's
ago. It's a
it's
a confidence thing.
yeah, exactly.
Thanks, bro. Thanks for having me.
All right. Yep. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you haven't, please like, subscribe. Give us a follow on or subscribe on YouTube. We're at 48 subscribers. We need 2 more to get to 50. I know, all big numbers, but yeah, it'd be really cool to get to 50. So please, if you haven't, I know we get normally over 100 watches or views every week. So if you haven't, please subscribe. That'd be awesome. We'll see you next week. Bye.